Okay, hi everyone, I'm 𝐤𝐤𝐤 Forrester again, and this is my podcast. But first of all, let me introduce these podcasts are mostly for business people, entrepreneurs, and it's a way of actually going behind the scenes of what it's like to be a business owner. And I'll introduce Angel in a moment, but I think what I'll do is I want to be able to actually get to the point where a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be a business owner, people who are starting out in business, because there's a lot to it and there's a lot of things, a lot of mistakes what we go through as business owner, and sometimes these mistakes are what grows us, what makes us become what we are. So what I'd like to do now is get Angel to introduce himself, and then I'm going to ask Angel a series of questions. So, Angel, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, first of all, Hylton, thank you very much for having me on your show, and thank you to all the audience for being here, today, listening to our humble conversation. So, yeah, basically, I'm originally from Barcelona. I've lived in the UK, and I have lived for the last 10 years in the north of Dallas, in Texas. That means like almost the center of the country. And yeah, for a living, basically what I did is I would say both corporate CEOs and established entrepreneurs, they hire me to bridge the gap globally for expansion and exposure. I would say that basically I help companies to go internationally through several sales, business development, and marketing strategies. And I started to do that 4 years ago after I left corporate America. And the reason why I did that is because I've actually started my foundation. It's called Wisdom for Kids, and what we do is we help underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs, using their local resources. So this is Angel Rivo. I am this person, consulting business world, talking to all these, very powerful, influential people, and at the same time helping the underprivileged kids in Latin America with Wisdom for Kids.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is wonderful. To say that. Especially the next generation, that's generally where my heart is. And your bio is that you've done a TV host, public speaker. As you said, you're a consultant as well, and you've lived in various countries around the world. You speak 5 languages. Wow, that's incredible. You've lived also in the UK, and it's just incredible to have you here. But you mentioned in what you're saying about kids, and that's a lot of the times I focus on kids as well, because there's one of the stories personal to me is that there's a young man who's 17 and he's now wanting me to coach him to be an entrepreneur. So it's really exciting to actually see the next generation, how they're going to actually take on board the new technologies and things like that. But in your experience, what are the main things, especially to do with the kids, or what you find that they're hungry or they're disconnected? What would you expand with that?
Yes, the first thing, as I was listening to you, I was really like being in tune with what the human being Hylton was saying. And I was remembering all those workshops that we have been delivered with our team in Latin America for those kids. And obviously I have 3 kids, and I have had different experience with all 3. We are very involved as a family. Actually, my wife and I both in the education of our kids. We are volunteers in the schools. We are volunteers in the school district, etc. The reason why I'm saying this is because I found something in common for everybody. We are not allowing our kids to be themselves. We are not allowing our kids to be themselves. Okay, so we are right now at 2021, at 2020, almost only a few, 10 days or 15 days away from 2021. It's December 2020. Everybody knows what's happening in December 2020 in the world. Nobody will ever forget what's going on in the world. This is 7.5 billion people, right? And, we have all been obliged to think from out of the box throughout those last 12 months. We have had to do it. And I have realized how, from different sources, we're being pulled over. We are being asked to polarize ourselves. We are being asked to choose sides all the time. We are either with these ones, or we're at the other side. We're at this side of the political aisle, or we are at the other side. We are pro masks or anti masks. We are, pro COVID or anti COVID. We are conservatives or we are, socialists, whatever that is. So, and we are not like this as human beings. And you see that on kids. The younger the kids we go and help and teach, you realize the greatness. We realize how genuine they are. We realize how they really are much closer to the real values of the human being. I'm not saying you have to spoil your kids and allow them to do everything that they want and have everything that they want. No, I'm saying we have to allow them to be who they are. We have to allow them to be who they are. You shine, Hylton, you shine with your work and with your audience because of who you are.
Yes.
And there's nobody out there like you. It's impossible to have someone like you out there doing the coaching work that you do and doing, the TV host and podcast host work that you do. There's nobody else anywhere in the world that can do the same thing that you do. That doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So, and it's the same. That's why I'm saying the most important thing that I think we have to do with kids is allow them to be themselves and make sure that we are an example for them. We spend time with them, but that, that essence of our kids, we allow them to be themselves throughout the entire education. You have kids, right? We just were having a conversation, right? We have to allow them to be themselves.
Yes.
As much as we want to teach them what to do or how to behave or what is good or what is bad, they're intrinsically good.
Great, brilliant. It also says on your bio here, one of the areas which I want to move on to is just you've actually empowered more than 1,500 CEOs in 33 different countries, and now with the technology, where you're in Dallas and I'm in the UK in London. It's just a really exciting time how you can connect with anybody around the world 24 hours a day. And what would you say going into the next year? How I know we've got coming out of COVID now, or we still will be in COVID in the UK next year, but how was COVID for you? How did it affect you personally?
Well, number one, I have to think that my thoughts about many different life things and circumstances and initiatives has changed. So this whole situation has allowed me to see things that I didn't see before. Okay. So that's why really from the bottom of my being, I have realized that this has been a blessing. I have not only lived and gone through a historical moment, but also I have realized that I have had to try to understand so many moving pieces right now all over the place with my family, my relatives, my friends, my co-workers, my employees, my business partners, everybody, my vendors. I have had to do so many different things and have to try to understand what's happening in the world. Why is this happening? What has historically happened? So had not been because of this, I would have never opened my eyes and I would have never start doing my own research on so many, subject matters, really. So
okay.
That's why I consider, oh my God, thanks to all this happening all over the place, I have been able to see the world from a different set of eyes. Beautiful. And that's priceless. That is priceless. From a personal perspective or from a family perspective, obviously we've had our ups and downs as any other family in the world. There's been members, really in fear for many months. There's been other members that really have been having their lives as usual, or almost as usual. So everybody has lived these circumstances a different way. From a business perspective, life has really smiled to me throughout this time. So it has been a good time for me too.
Great.
I think I have been able to kind of reinvent myself even. Yes. Reinvent myself, because something else that I have learned is that whatever I do not do today, nobody will be able to do it because I am unique and the value I bring to the world is unique. So if I don't start providing to the world this kind of value, inspiration, messages, nobody else is going to do it. It will be different, and that's okay. but nobody can do the same as me. Nobody, because I am unique, So that I realized, and I actually started to provide additional services that I was not providing before, because people need different things.
That's a beautiful way to put it, because I think as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs are to solve problems, and in a climate like this, there's more people in situations. Some people are in fear situations, some people are lost, some people are depressed, some people are going through different forms of their emotions, and I think it's exciting for an entrepreneur who can solve those problems or come up with ideas how to support them. But when you mention the kids, the values and things like that, that is such a powerful thing to bring to the next generation. So my next question with yourself, as a business owner, what would you say are some of the mistakes you've made in the past?
It's very easy, because when some mistakes were really painful, really, really painful. I would say the first mistake I made, I remember, out of the gate, when I stopped, my work in corporate America. That was, February 28th, 2016. It's like a sentence. It's like a sentence. Having been in that environment for so many years. So I remember the first mistake I made is that I didn't ask for help enough. So I thought, no. I get this. I can do that. And I didn't ask for help. And the only scarce resource that we have as humans is time. It's the only one.
Yeah.
The rest you can have any other time in your life, but time goes by. Okay. Yes. And while you and I invent like the forever young entrepreneur drug or something, or method, or coaching method, or whatever, while that doesn't exist, time is crucial. When you start as an entrepreneur, time is extremely important. So I thought, okay, so I can do that. And I had savings and I had money and everything. I wish I had invested that money to earn time, to have people help me with the things I needed to start my business. I didn't do that. It took to me too long to ask for help. And I'm asking for help from vendors, about people that have skills that I don't have, so I need them to do certain things. But also, I'm telling about my former workers, co-workers, my business partners. I was hesitant and reluctant to go to all this, circle of influence of myself to ask for help.
Okay.
I don't know this, and that was very unconscious. I mean, it's not that no, I don't like these guys again. It's like maybe I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do this now. Maybe I didn't feel myself enough powerful, or maybe I had the imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go to these people that I'm sure they would have helped me, because they love me and they love me the way I am, and they would have given me advice and business contacts and many other things. I wish I had done this, and I had put my well, how to say this? It's not shame, but you don't want to ask for help. When you feel that you don't need anybody else to do this. That was a big mistake. And with everything that's happening in 2020, it's so clear. We so need each other. We so much need each other. Every one of us need. And the third mistake I made is we don't know how to collaborate, Hylton. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know how to collaborate. Yes. Okay. So for instance, I don't know. I mean, you go online and you'll see my profile and say, wow, oh my God, this profile is amazing. It has so many things and so many numbers. But in reality, if someone wants to collaborate with me, I do not want them to feel that they cannot offer me anything, because maybe my profile is amazing and my history and my experience. Everybody can provide anything.
Yes.
There's so much that I need for my business and to serve my audience, to serve my clients, that anybody out there from their uniqueness from their uniqueness as a human being and as a professional, they can offer me so much. It doesn't matter how many years they have been entrepreneurs, how many years they have been working. It doesn't matter. They're just themselves, and they can offer me maybe just a connection, just someone that they know, and that person can change my life forever. So
wow.
I was considering collaboration like in an imbalanced relationship, and that's wrong. We have to understand that collaborating is being both of the people collaborating or the group at the same level and really wanting to share and to give, wanting to share. It does, but then there's this amazing law in the universe called the law of reciprocity.
Yes.
The law of reciprocity. It's not being selfish to ask in return. It's not being selfish. I don't know if it is my education, my religious education when I was a kid, whatever that was, or the limiting beliefs that came from my school or from my parents. I loved my parents to death, by the way.
Okay.
This shame that you cannot ask. You cannot ask. I remember when I was going to someone else's with my family, when my mom and dad and my siblings, I was going to visit some relatives. My mom would always say, please don't ask anything unless you are offered. So that is so much, and it was so much inside of me. Collaborating means asking. There's nothing wrong. And I can go to, let's say, I can go to Tony Robbins, I can go to Les Brown, I can go to any of those amazing, coaches in the world. And collaborating means that I'm going to ask them to do something for me, and at the same time, I'm going to do something for them. So it's this quid pro quo. I like this, Latin expression.
Yes.
Quid pro quo.
Yes.
That's definitely, those are, I would say, the top 3 mistakes I made.
Beautiful. I'm so excited with what you've just shared there, because it resonates with me a lot, especially when you mentioned in 2016, that was the year when I went through my bankruptcy, and I had, I believed in the same thing, a bit lost, no one to help me. In a sense, I didn't go out there and ask for it. I believed my ego, my pride. I've got these people working for me, and that was where I was with it. So I can identify with that totally as a business owner. It's when you mentioned the cooperation, and we spoke off the actual recording that we could do something together, and my son wants me to go take him to China, and we mentioned about how we could work together in that one thing. That's just incredible. Just me sharing that idea with you. It's just amazing how you can. It's called win-win. So you win, I win, and we grow together. That's amazing.
And I have this year, my motto for this year. It's funny how it has played out at the end, right? But it was 2 words. Why not?
Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
And I think I'm gonna keep this why not forever moving forward.
Yes.
Because why not allows yourself to open to possibilities.
Yes.
And the collaboration that he's talking about is just insane. I mean, why would you say that when I'm going to do this, I'm going to be traveling to that place, and suddenly I had this idea. I said, oh my God, that's amazing. Why don't we do this?
Yes.
You take that, that position, and I take that position, and we both together will do this, and we can help many people out there to unite the world.
Yes.
To see that things are possible.
Yes.
Why not? So why not? I mean, why not?
That's a beautiful word.
We'll figure out the details. Hylton and I will figure out the details. The question is not, can we do this that we just out of the blue came up with? No, that's the wrong question. The question is, how can we do it?
Yes. Yes.
It's not if we can. No. How can we do this? How can we do it? We'll talk about communication and time zones and locations, but the question is, how can we do this?
Yes.
How can we plan ahead of time and do this together so it benefits the world?
Yes. Beautiful. That is just wonderful. And I after you explained that, actually seeing your CV as well, and your bio and all that kind of thing, and the things what you've actually accomplished, I can understand why people wouldn't reach out to you. It's kind of like trying to speak with Tony Robbins. He may have, you know, his entourage or whatever people around him, but there's always a way to get to people, and there's always a way if you want it badly enough. And I think if you're thinking about like the next question I want to ask you is that if you was actually going to start again in your career, how would you manage that? What would you think you would do differently?
Oh, that's so clear. Thank you for asking me that question. It's so clear. I would have cultivated, nourished all my personal and business relationships.
Wow.
Forever. Like, I would have carried a notebook, a notepad with me, like part of my outfit. It would be a notepad with a pencil, and I would keep track of every single person that has meant something for me in my life, and I would keep that relationship alive forever.
Wow.
You can't imagine how many times I have said, oh my God, who gave me this book that changed my life? That's a true story. I was in the UK. Actually, this is amazing. That's a true story. I was in the UK, and someone gave me a book, and I don't know who gave me this book.
Yes.
I have spoken so many times before media about how that book changed my life forever.
Yes. Yes.
And I have never been able, just this small thing, right? Who gave me that book that changed my life forever? I can't recall who that person was, but I was in the UK. That lady gave me the book.
Yes.
And then I traveled to Latin America. And then I was at that beach when I finished reading that book. And then when I turned the last page, I said, "Oh my God, this book has been amazing. I'm someone else. I changed forever." Crazy. No, really. So, you know, there's so many. I wish right now I had this, as they say in the US, there's Rolodex, right? This Rolodex with all those connections, just to go back to them and say, "Hey, how are you? How is life treating you? You know, what can I do for you? What could we do together?"
Yes. Yeah. Good. That is so amazing. The connections you're more or less saying, nurturing them and keeping them with you as you're going along.
Yeah.
That is so important. The amount of times I've met people as well, and you just sort of can't be bothered to get back to them or whatever the case may be. And what would you say is the power of the mentoring, then the coaching, in terms of that?
You mean in my business or in general?
In general, well, you know, because I know a lot of people go to coaches. For instance, I had an email 3 days ago, and it was a lady on LinkedIn, and she said that her husband's lost his way a bit in his business, and she wants to give him a Christmas present. And the Christmas present, she's thinking about what to give him. And she believes she wants to give him something which is going to help him, which is a coaching session. And she contacted me and said, can I actually speak to him? And we're going to set a time to go through where he wants to get to, where he's got lost, and that kind of thing. So people come to coaches when they've got that pain, and some people come to coaches to go ahead. You know, you hear people who've got multiple coaches and that. Could you expand on that area and the benefits of that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, number one, I would say I realized it's fascinating. I rarely speak about Tony Robbins, but I have to say that it was an event of Tony Robbins who made me crystal clear that I had to have a coach. I always have a coach. Okay, so I have had several coaches. Why? Because you just don't know what you don't know.
Yes. Yes.
And second, because you don't see your own belly button. You just don't see it. It doesn't matter how thin you are. You just don't see it.
Yes.
People, you don't see yourself the way that you conduct yourself in the world. I mean, as much of an observer that you can be of your own self in the world, as much present as you can be, you are still tied to the habit of being yourself. You need someone from the outside to help you. And again, a coach is not someone who's going to tell you what to do. The coach has the power to drive you, to help you, to escort you through a process of self-discovery.
Yes.
And discovery of other things around you. That's a coach. A coach is a support. It's a life support system. That's what a coach is. It's a life support system that helps you realize things that it's impossible for you to realize. And also remember, I mean, if we were to measure, let's say March 2020, levels of fear in the world, compare, if there was a fear meter, like in every single neighborhood in the world, and we move forward to December 2020, needless to say, June 2020, right? What are the levels of fear? Oh my God, there's so much fear all over the place.
Yes.
Because we are human beings and we develop that because it's part of our survival instinct. I get that, but we're still fearful. There's a lot, as you know, there's millions of people that live in fear. There's millions of people with their immune systems down because of the fear. Because they think, oh my God, we will never get out of this. Oh my God, I listen to the news every single day. It's not possible. I just heard my MP talking about this and that, and oh my God, oh no, yeah. I'm going nowhere. What's going to happen to my family, to my estate, to my house, to my belongings, to my properties? You need an outside observer, and that's a coach.
Yes.
That's a coach, someone that listens.
Yes.
That's someone that listens and makes the effort to understand and keeps you focused and to the point.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is so powerful. I've used coaches in the past as well, and they told me accountable because I can be lost and lazy, and actually just to report to somebody, this is what I've done, I've achieved this. It's such a powerful thing. And there's a lot of people don't realize that is around. But when it comes to your personal kids, how have you nurtured them through your the upbringing themselves?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I've that's obviously that's a great question, and that's an ongoing thing. You never finish doing that to your kids, regardless of how old they are, right? And again, you could perfectly ask me the question, what would you do differently with the kids, right? And we could be with a conversation probably for days talking just about how many things I feel remorseful that I should have done and I never did, or the things that I did that I should have never done. So regardless, I still nurture them, thank God, and probably it's the outside world that shows me the good things that I did for them. It's not even me.
Yes.
Okay, it's the other people that say, "Oh my God, he's so well behaved, or she's so well behaved. Oh my God, it looks like you're doing a great job." Well, I really don't know. Hell yes. Well, thank you. But so I nurture them. Number one, spending time, obviously, and not telling but listening. That's the main mistake. It's not about telling. It's about listening to them.
Yeah.
It's about listening, and as my kids are, 20, 12, and 10. And every stage every age needs different things.
Yes.
So I have to nurture them in different ways. I always will have to inspire them. I will always be there to listen to them. I will always be there to say, okay, so that's what I would do if I were you. But if you want the advice, or if you don't want any advice, tell me, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And again, they don't know what they don't know. But most of the time, as you know, kids don't want to listen.
Yes.
To their parents, right? They'd rather listen to their best friend. Maybe if we are lucky as parents, they will listen to their teachers. If we are lucky, right? Or maybe they will listen to a priest. Maybe.
Yes.
That's the course of our lives, right? And we do that, and we go to church, blah, etc. But I think that it's being there to listen, and actually, I think that we should become coaches.
Yes.
Parents should be coaches.
Yes.
Parents should be coaches. There should be like a course. I mean, I've been married twice. The first one I married through the Catholic Church, and I was suggested / obliged to take a course before getting married. And actually, I went to a monastery.
Okay.
And I took a course.
Yes.
Right. And when I took that course, I was taught different things. But I think that it should be compulsory for every single parent in the world to go and take a course, but not a 2-day course and a weekend course. No. You have to go at least through a 1-year course led by parent coaches
Okay.
Parenting coaches, no, honestly, that should be compulsory so that you learn with quizzes, with tests. And if you fail the test, we'll see what we do with the kid. No, really. Because
Yeah.
as you know, I mean, if we screw up with the kids, it's not because of the kids, it's because of us.
Yes.
It's us. If there's something wrong with their lives, it's because we didn't do something right. Let's face it. Let's face it. No. It was their company, their friends, their environment. No. I'm sorry, but we did something wrong at some point in time. We cannot change the past. Let's do something moving forward.
Brilliant. When you were talking about kids as well, you say you've actually launched the International Foundation, and this is for wisdom for kids, and you've actually helped, which is wonderful, over 1,000 underprivileged kids in Latin America. Could you expand on that? And why would you? I know it's from your heart and stuff, but how is that going?
Well, obviously, right now, unfortunately, it's kind of stopped. I'm talking to the volunteers in the different areas through email and WhatsApp and all these kind of things. The foundation started because when I was living in Latin America and working in Latin America, I was all the time, serving the company. I was working for a high-tech company. I was serving these corporations, right? These companies, these businesses, and most of them were manufacturing companies in the outskirts of of the cities or even in the rural areas. Every time I would go to those areas, as you know, Latin America, most of the countries obviously have a high level of poverty. Every time I would go to those manufacturing plants to talk to the CEOs of those corporations, every single time without exception, guess what I would find outside? There would be poor kids offering me some sort of product or service. Hey, can you buy some candies for me? Can you buy some gums?
Yes.
May we keep your car safe while you are inside the plant? May we clean your windshield? Maybe clean your tires? Anything, because they wanted to have some money or because their parents obliged them to make a living for their home, whatever that was. So all the time, in the same day, in a matter of minutes, I would be seeing the very poor, the poorest part of that area and the top most influential people in that very same area.
Yes.
So picture that, right? So kids, underprivileged, poor, with very poor like clothes, everything. And in a few minutes, I was inside the plant and I was talking to the most influential guy in that manufacturing plant that was definitely one of the most influential people in that entire area, geographic area.
Okay.
So I'd reached a point in which when I was already planning to leave corporate America, I had a spiritual experience.
Okay.
So it was a Saturday morning. I was in Mexico City. I was in the 13th floor of that hotel. I remember that floor and I remember that room and I remember that bathroom because as soon as I got up, as I felt, I went to the shower, and when I woke up, I had this remorseful thing of, my God, it's Saturday. I should have taken the flight back home on Friday. Yet again, I'm sacrificing my family due to my work. So I was remorseful. But as soon as I turned on the tap on the shower, the water in the shower, as soon as I did that, I started to feel an incredible rush of energy. As the water was pouring into me, I started to see those images and this incredible emotion, and for no reason. I mean, those images of all those poor kids in Latin America, all those images of hundreds and hundreds of kids I had seen for this, years while being in the continent. And I started to cry for no reason. I was completely in goosebumps, completely. And I felt so moved and shaken. I was literally ended up being on my knees inside the bathtub in that hotel. So it was I remember that entire day, I was so sensitive. Anything that anybody would tell me, I would start to cry for this entire day. And I realized, oh my God, why has this happened to me? What does that mean?
Yes.
Angel, listen to what just happened to you.
Yes.
And then it was very clear. Angel, you have met with all these powerful people in the continent, those 1,500 CEOs you have helped with their businesses. and win their lives, you have to do something about the poorest kids that you were always saying before meeting with the powerful ones.
Yes.
And then that was, I obviously flew back to Dallas, and then I said, hey, I'm going to do this. And I looked for 2 other people to do it. We co-founded Wisdom for Kids. And that's history.
Well done. That's such a lovely story. And to have a spiritual experience with it as well, that is moving.
Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. So before I ask my last question, where can people find you online? And I know you're doing lots of great work out there.
Thank you. Thank you. So my brand is the CEO Confidant, the CEO Confidant. So if you go to the CEOconfidant.com, you will find me.
Okay.
I'm very active online. You will easily find me on LinkedIn, the professional network, the network that you typically use for, when you're looking for a job. You look for 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤, the CEO Confidant, and you will find me there. I post every single day. I post business, but I also post a lot of personal stuff, because we are human beings and we do personal stuff, right? So that's the easiest way. If you want to send me an email and I respond to all the emails, my email is very easy. It's Angel, ANGEL, @Angel, again, ANGEL, 𝐤𝐤𝐤. 𝐤𝐤𝐤 is RIB as in boy, O.com. Angel@angelreebo.com. That's the easiest way to find me.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. So the last question I want to ask you, and having a name like that, Angel, and you're an angel, really, it's just incredible. But what kind of, and I think I would know what you're going to say generally, but what kind of impact do you want to leave on the world?
Thank you. Well, I would definitely like to leave two kinds of, maybe the most important legacy would be definitely to change the landscape of poverty among kids in Latin America. We're talking about a continent with 81 million kids living in poverty out of a 170 million population of kids. Right. It means 45% of kids in Latin America live under the threshold of poverty, unfortunately. And 22 million do not have drinking water available where they live.
Right.
Picture this. Okay. So every time you go to the loo or you go to drink some water, they cannot do that. Yes. They can't do it. 22 million kids with their families. Okay. So just picture this. So that's one thing. And the second thing is I would love to connect the unconnected. Connect the unconnected. If you see this, actually, Wisdom for Kids is exactly that. It's connecting the unconnected. Those kids that would never be connected with anybody because they live in remote areas, because they live even in urban areas, but they don't connect with anybody. I want to connect those kids that live unconnected, completely disconnected, with the other ones that can change their lives.
Yes.
So I would like to, and that's something I do obviously every day, to live a world in which the most powerful people in the world know that they're only one step away from helping the most underprivileged ones. Right.
Okay. That's beautiful. Wow. That is incredible. Angel, it's been a total honor to chat to you today. I'm just gobsmacked to actually be connecting with you. So thank you for your time today. All the way from Dallas, and we will speak soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hylton, and obviously thank you very much to everybody listening to this conversation. I'm here to help you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.